What are you doing here? The girl asked, clearly upset. I didn't really care about her attitude. I just wanted to talk. She took a deep breath, calmed down, and finally let me speak. What I didn't know was that she was already overthinking things. She assumed that since I had just met Wang Jinghao, I might have been tricked by the Millennium Guild. Seeing her sheath her sword, I raised 5 fingers. For 500,000, I said, I'll sell you a top secret piece of information. It could give your guild a big advantage. She didn't agree right away. Instead, she questioned me. Why not sell it to Wang Jinghao? Didn't you ask him to look after you? I waved my hand dismissively. Does he deserve it? I'm just playing along with him, tolerating his nonsense. I acted pitiful on purpose. To me, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and she clearly didn't like Wang Jinghao. That meant we could work together in the future. She looked at me skeptically. My sudden change in attitude made her suspicious. I sent her my bank details. It's a fair deal. I won't cheat you. She hesitated, but in the end, she transferred the money. Easiest money of my life, I thought. Even though I knew money would become useless later, I still needed it now. Once the transfer was done, I told her, you should go back and complete the blacksmith shop quest. She froze, then got angry. You can't get a quest from the blacksmith shop. She was ready to attack me, thinking I was scamming her for Wang Jinghao. So I explained calmly, you need to help the blacksmith pump the bellows for 5 minutes while he's forging. That triggers the quest. She still looked doubtful. If you don't believe me, have one of your people try it. Just do it quietly. If others find out, the info loses value. Then I took out the sect letter. She immediately recognized it. When I told her it was a quest reward, I didn't need to say anything else. As I turned to leave, she suddenly called out, still confused. Why sell something so important to me? I smiled. Maybe because you're cute. She froze, then blushed. Her expression softened instantly. Suddenly, help! We both turned. An enormous boar charged out of the forest. Is that a boss? The girl shouted as they ran. But I stepped forward instead. You're lucky, I said with a smile. This is the biggest boss in the newbie village. One girl asked, shocked. You're not thinking of soloing it, right? I held out my hand. Can I borrow your sword? Still doubtful, she tossed it to me. I thanked her, drew the blade, and ignored the chatter behind me. He's going to die. He's just trying to impress Sister Ling. Ling told them to be quiet, half embarrassed. At that moment I moved. I leaped, dodging the boar's charge, slashing its belly and head, but no damage. So that won't work. I switched tactics. I got behind it. But instead of attacking, I ran. The girls laughed from a distance. Look at him run! He's scared. Ling sighed. This is my fault, but he's just a newbie. Dying a few times won't matter. I kept running until I reached a massive rock. At the last second, I jumped. The boar wasn't so lucky. It crashed straight into the rock. 50. More damage followed as rocks fell. The girls were stunned. I didn't waste the chance. I attacked its head again. Every hit dealt only 8 damage, but all critical. Its health dropped fast. The boar recovered, furious, and charged again. I repeated the trick. Crash. Damage. Attack. Again and again. Finally, I jumped onto its head and drove the sword straight through its skull. The boar collapsed. A spark of flame entered my body. Plus 70 XP. Breakthrough. I reached the early stage of chi refinement. My talent activated, doubling all my stats. A warm energy surged through me, removing all fatigue. Then, another reward. A new talent, Blood Energy Seed. Plus 10% vitality, upgradable 3 times. With my doubled stats, I now had over 2,000 HP, while others only had 1,000. Then, ding! Global announcement incoming. Hide your name? No! Moments later, every player heard it. The entire game was shocked. Meanwhile, I calmly picked up the loot, gold, weapons, and a movement skill book. But I didn't forget. My tribulation was coming. 30 minutes. The sky darkened. I had to move. I rushed to the sword sect. At the gate I shouted, "Disciples seeking a master?" Lightning cracked across the sky. Then, a woman appeared, floating in the air. She instantly recognized it. A tribulation? The elders were confused. None of their disciples should be breaking through. Then I ran forward, holding the sect letter. Please help me. Lightning struck, but she waved her hand, forming a barrier. The strike was blocked. The clouds vanished. Silence. The elders stared at me in shock. A tribulation? At early chi refinement? A prodigy. They rushed forward, fighting over me. Then, enough. The woman spoke. The disciple will be mine. She was the sect leader. Everyone went silent. She looked at me. Will you become my disciple? A system prompt appeared. Greatest opportunity triggered. I bowed deeply. I accept.
This was amazing. I had just joined the sect and already found such a powerful mentor. We walked toward the inner hall, the very core of the sect. My mentor told me that I would train here from now on. She then assigned another disciple to bring me a newcomer's package and guide me to my living quarters. After that, she turned to leave, but not before telling me to meet her in the main hall the next day. Even though she seemed a bit distant, I had already achieved my goal. After waiting for what felt like an hour, the assigned disciple still hadn't shown up. With nothing else to do, I decided to explore the area on my own. Who knew? I might stumble upon some hidden quest. As I wandered around, I suddenly came across a very unique-looking palace. Curious, I pushed the door open and stepped inside. I gulped nervously. Who's there? A female voice suddenly shouted. Startled, I froze. Only then did I realize I had accidentally entered the sect leader's palace. I quickly tried to apologize, but before I could even finish, she turned and struck me with a powerful blow. Boom. My health instantly dropped by 90%. She scolded me coldly for entering her palace without permission. Panicking, I hurriedly explained that the disciple assigned to me hadn't arrived yet, and I was only trying to familiarize myself with the area when I accidentally wandered in. Rubbing my swollen cheek, I silently prayed this wouldn't leave a bad impression. She sighed, her expression softening slightly. In the end, she decided not to punish me any further. Instead, she handed me a pill and warned me strictly never to enter this place again without her permission. Looking at the pill in my hand, I quickly realized it was a high-grade pill. It could boost all combat attributes by 30% for 5 minutes and restore 3,000 health outside of combat. I left the palace carefully, but I didn't take the pill right away. I decided to save it for later. Returning to where I had been waiting, I soon heard footsteps approaching. Finally, the disciple my mentor had assigned arrived. A young girl in blue robes stood before me. Junior brother, come and greet your senior sister, she said. I immediately bowed respectfully. Greetings, senior sister. She seemed pleasantly surprised that I played along so naturally. A system notification appeared. Nangong use rapport plus 10. I smiled and added, senior sister is not only as beautiful as a flower, but also possesses such impressive cultivation. I truly admire you. Hearing this, she became even happier. However, she suddenly blushed and turned her head away shyly, trying to hide her expression. You smooth talker, she muttered. I chuckled. There's a saying, on the path of cultivation, it's not enough to train hard. You must also master the art of flattery. She burst into laughter. Rapport plus 5. I hadn't expected her to be so easy to get along with. In this world, the relationship between players and NPCs could unlock different quests and opportunities depending on rapport levels. Usually, reaching a rapport level of 61 or higher allowed physical contact with NPCs of the opposite gender. At 71 or above, well, it could even lead to becoming companions. Cough, the kind that share a bed. Of course, that was incredibly difficult. Many dedicated players in previous lives had tried and failed. Suddenly, I coughed violently. Blood spilled from my mouth. Alarmed, she rushed closer. When did you get such serious injuries? I immediately thought of the earlier incident. This might actually be a good chance to gain some sympathy and maybe a few extra benefits. Wiping the blood from my lips, I honestly told her what had happened. As she listened, her expression changed. She realized that because she had been late, I wandered around and ended up getting injured by the sect leader. Her eyes reddened, and she looked like she was about to cry. The sect leader told me to come right away, but I got distracted reading a novel, she admitted, clearly blaming herself. In a panic, she quickly took out a bottle of pills and handed it to me, apologizing over and over again. I shook my head. It's not your fault, I said. I shouldn't have wandered around without permission. Before I could say more, she looked at me with clear admiration. She hadn't expected me to defend her, even after getting hurt because of it. Rapport plus 5. Then, after a brief pause, she took out a green pendant and handed it to me. This is for you, she said generously. I examined it closely. It was a spiritual level equipment item. defense plus 10, vitality plus 5, regenerates 1% mana per second outside of combat. It also had a special ability, a 0.5 second mana shield during battle. This jade pendant was top tier among spiritual equipment. She laughed lightly. Of course, as your senior sister, I have plenty of good things. After that, she prepared to take me to my quarters. I still couldn't believe how quickly I had gained so many valuable items. But at the same time, I reminded myself, this world overlapped with reality. These NPCs weren't just simple game characters. They had emotions, thoughts, feelings. And for now, I was the only one who knew that secret. We soon arrived at a spirit gathering array, a perfect place for cultivation. Here, spiritual energy could directly convert into experience. Feeling the rich energy around us, she said with a hint of envy. Even my father only has a mystic level array at his place. I was genuinely surprised to have such a high level array in my own residence. Normally, players would just meditate here while offline or AFK to gain experience. This method felt very slow. Could it be that my mentor had arranged this on purpose just for me? We talked for a few more minutes before she lightly patted my shoulder and said goodbye. I thanked her again, then sat down to begin my meditation. Sitting inside the spirit gathering array, I could clearly feel spiritual energy flowing into my body. The speed was impressive, 52 points per hour. With my maxed out perception, my cultivation speed was dozens of times faster than that of an ordinary early stage chi refinement cultivator. At this rate, I could level up in just a few hours. Satisfied, I decided to log off and meet my mentor the next day. Back in the real world, I picked up my phone and checked my balance. Over 1 million, and I was just getting started. Not long after, I called Rinlan. It didn't take long before she arrived on her motorcycle, following the address I had sent her. She removed her helmet, and I couldn't help but notice her daily workouts had really paid off. Her figure was incredible. As she walked upstairs, I was already waiting at the door. She looked confused. "Why did you call me so early?" "I was planning to go for my morning run." I scratched my head. "I just wanted you to see my new apartment." She stepped inside, looking around. "This is the place you just rented?" "Wow, not bad," she said casually, walking through the rooms and praising everything nonstop. I smiled. "It better be good. The rent is $6,000 a month." Hearing that, she laughed. "You really know how to enjoy life. So my membership fee is being wasted like this." I shrugged. "What else can I do? I can't pay you back anyway, so I might as well spend it quickly so you'll stop thinking about it." I teased her on purpose. The next second, she jumped over the sofa in one smooth motion and grabbed me by the collar, pinning me down. She sat on top of me like she was ready to beat me up. I panicked and tried to explain, but she didn't stop. I struggled to break free. "But I'm just a normal guy, with all that close contact and unintentional rubbing." "Well, my mushroom grew." She suddenly froze. Her raised fist stopped midair. Her face turned bright red. She quickly jumped up, and we both looked down. The atmosphere became extremely awkward. "Lynn, how dare you take advantage of me?" she shouted, raising her fist again. Just then, knock knock. Someone was at the door. "My game pods must be here," I said quickly, rubbing my swollen cheeks. I told the delivery guys to wait a moment, then turned back to her. "I made some money in the game," I explained. "So I bought you a game pod too." The delivery workers soon carried 2 game pods into my room. She immediately recognized how valuable they were. It was enough to make up for the money she had given me earlier. I also knew her college dorm wouldn't have space for it, and if I left it at her house, her dad would definitely destroy it. So I had already prepared a room for her here. Her anger disappeared instantly. This was the newest model of the game pod, and she was already excited, taking pictures and posting them on Instagram. I shook my head. Money really does solve 99% of problems. Back in the game, it was already evening. My mentor arrived at the spirit gathering array. She praised my talent, saying it was the best she had ever seen. In just a few hours, I was already close to breaking through again. I clasped my fists and pretended to be confused. Why does it feel like my cultivation has suddenly hit a bottleneck? Of course, I already knew the answer. Each small stage required special pills to break through. I just wanted to see if my mentor would help me. Her expression softened slightly. Maybe it was because of yesterday when I accidentally entered her palace and almost saw her naked. Soon, she took out a purple pill. "This is a spirit gathering pill," she explained. "It can help you break through." Thanked her, knowing such pills were only found in top sects. But just as I thought she was about to give it to me, she crushed it. I froze. "Although your talent is exceptional," she said seriously, "I'm worried you'll become someone who only knows how to cultivate, without real strength. A true cultivator needs not only power, but real combat experience." Her words hit me hard. I suddenly understood. In my past life, cultivation could be improved with pills and treasures. Stats could be boosted with equipment. But combat skills, there were no shortcuts. I nodded. A plant raised in a greenhouse cannot walk the path of immortality, I said. Only a tree that grows through storms can reach eternity. She looked pleased. Rapport +5. I hadn't expected that sharing my thoughts would increase my rapport with the sect leader. Even though it wasn't much, it was a good start. Who knows what could happen in the future? No, focus. I shook my head. I was destined to become the strongest sword cultivator in the world. I couldn't let myself get distracted by romance. Women would only slow down my sword speed. Then she took out another pill. Go to the outer hall and pick a difficult chi refinement mission, she instructed. If you complete it, you'll receive this pill. Before I left, she also handed me a scroll. The sect's core technique, the Tianyin Heart Sutra. This was the fundamental technique of the Tianyin sword sect. The higher the mastery, the greater the benefits. This was one of the advantages of being the sect leader's disciple. Other disciples had to complete many tasks just to obtain it. But I received it directly. I quickly headed to the outer hall. There were already some players gathered there. That didn't surprise me. Some hardworking players would naturally discover the blacksmith's hidden quest. But I was already ahead. I was now the sect leader's disciple, training in the inner hall. Handsome big shot. A voice called from behind. I immediately knew it was directed at me. It was Ling. I hadn't expected her to join the sword sect too. This was actually good. Having a familiar face could be useful. What a coincidence, I said. You joined the sword sect too? I prefer swords, she replied. We chatted for a bit, but I soon excused myself. I have a mission to complete. She seemed like she wanted to keep talking, but I left quickly. The girl beside her laughed. Sister Ling, even your beauty can't win him over. This might be difficult. Ling blushed and argued back, but I was already gone. At the quest board, a long line had formed. While waiting, I started reading the Tianyin Heart Sutra. Soon, it was my turn. I want to take a mission, I said. The supervisor advised me to choose something within my level. I looked at the board. The lowest level tasks were simple, gathering herbs for small rewards. Too slow. Mid-level tasks involved hunting weak monsters. Too easy. Then, at the very top, a golden plaque, a hell-level mission. Without hesitation, I chose it. Hell-level tasks were always special and came with huge rewards. With the Tianyin Heart Sutra boosting my stats by 5%, I was confident. I also recognized the location. It was worth trying. The mission, recover a lost sect secret technique. A disciple named Zheng Hao had been killed during training, and the technique was stolen. My goal, avenge him and retrieve it. The supervisor warned me quietly. This mission is extremely dangerous. The enemy may be at the late stage of chi refinement. If you fail, you won't be able to take another mission. I smiled. I'll take it. Other players nearby started mocking me. Too dangerous. Too few clues. But I ignored them. By evening, I arrived at the mission location, Shufeng City. In front of me stood an inn, the key place for this mission. As I descended from the air, people immediately recognized me as a sect disciple. Several women came forward to greet me. Inside, the tavern was lively. Music filled the air, flutes and instruments played while guests drank and laughed. At the center, a man entertained the crowd with news and stories. He mentioned major events, sect breakthroughs, alliances through marriage. I wasn't surprised. He was the information broker of the 8 Wastelands. Nothing escaped him. I ordered tea and listened carefully. Soon, he mentioned it. Zheng Hao, killed. The murderer, Zhao He, a rogue cultivator at the late stage of chi refinement. Ruthless, associated with demonic paths. After he finished, I followed him outside. I want to buy information, I said. He smiled. As long as you can pay. I tossed him spirit stones. Where is Zhao He? He revealed that Zhao He often visited the red light district. I nodded, but he raised 5 fingers. More information. I paid again. He leaned closer. His brother, Zhao Shun, is at the Foundation establishment stage. I thanked him and left. My next stop, Autumn Moon Pavilion, the city's most famous red light district. Inside, people laughed, drank, and embraced freely. Soon, a drunken man staggered out. Master Zhao, come again, the girls called. That was him. I hid behind a pillar and followed him quietly. We left the city and entered the forest. Night had fallen. He suddenly stopped. Who's there? I stepped out. Someone who wants your life. He sobered slightly and drew his weapon. At first, he didn't take me seriously, until he saw my sect robes. Revenge, huh? He attacked. Fast. I dodged easily. He swung again. I spun, 360-degree, and struck back. Clang. He was pushed back, shocked. It's not that I'm strong, I said calmly. You're just weak. With my talent and the Tianyin Heart Sutra, my stats far surpassed his. He roared and charged again, lightning crackling around his blade. I stayed calm. Perfect timing. The jade pendant activated.
A shield appeared, blocking the attack. He was already exhausted, yet he still threatened me. I laughed. What an idiot. Enraged, he attacked wildly. But he couldn't hit me once. His expression changed. Fear. He tried to escape. Too late. I struck his shoulder, blood spilled. His HP, 2550. Pathetic. I increased my attacks. His health dropped rapidly. One final strike. Critical hit. He collapsed. Hand over the technique, I said. He begged. Then, danger. I dodged instantly. A powerful attack shattered the ground. A man stepped out. Brother, save me. Zhao Shun. Foundation establishment. Trouble. Before he could react, I moved. My sword pierced Zhao He's neck. Critical minus 300. He screamed and died. Zhao Shun's face twisted in rage. I looked at him calmly. Villains always die because they talk too much. Now, it was his turn, but I hadn't expected him to be this strong. In the next instant, his blade slashed across my body. I didn't have time to dodge. The attack hit me head on. Minus 220 damage. This wasn't good. He wasn't going to be easy to deal with. The force of the strike sent me flying several meters back. As I steadied myself, I managed to catch a glimpse of his stats. 5,300 health, and his overall attributes were 3 times stronger than Zhao He's. Before I could react, he vanished, then instantly reappeared behind me. I spun around and raised my sword just in time to block. Clang. The impact pushed me back again, sliding across the ground, but this time, I didn't take any damage. I steadied my breathing. Even though he was faster, my experience and muscle memory allowed me to predict his movements and defend properly. Still, that was way too close. Zhao Shun looked surprised, probably embarrassed that a Foundation establishment cultivator like him couldn't easily crush a mere early-stage opponent. His expression darkened. Then, he moved again. Faster. This time, he activated a skill. Soul-splitting slash. Minus 300 damage. I gritted my teeth. I regretted using the spirit shield earlier. It now had a 15-minute cooldown. But I still had something else. The movement technique I got from the Boar King. Phantom Step. With only a 10-second cooldown, I used it to create distance and buy time. He smirked, then activated his own movement skill. Shadow Clone Step. Suddenly, 3 Zhao Shuns appeared, attacking from different directions. But I stayed calm. This kind of trick was easy to deal with, if you could spot the real one. And I did. Only the middle one had a faint gleam in his eyes. The others looked empty. Without hesitation, I rushed forward and struck. Critical hit. Minus 55. His armor cracked. An armor break effect activated for 5 seconds. This was my chance. I followed up instantly. Minus 110 damage. He roared in anger, releasing a burst of energy that forced me back. Then he used another skill and charged again. His speed was overwhelming. Even though each hit only dealt double-digit damage, the constant pressure was starting to wear me down. It was frustrating. Being at the early stage of chi refinement against a Foundation establishment opponent was still a huge disadvantage. If I were mid-stage, this fight would have been much easier. My health had already dropped by a third. I had no choice. I took out the purple pill my mentor gave me and swallowed it. A purple aura surrounded my body. Zhao Shun hesitated, clearly shocked. All my combat stats increased by 30% for 5 minutes. He sensed the change, but still didn't take me seriously. He attacked again. This time, I didn't even dodge. Clang. His strike was completely blocked. Effortlessly. The pill had not only restored my health, but also boosted my defense. His eyes lit up with greed. He thought I had more treasures on me. And he was right. The effect was temporary. But he wouldn't have time to wait. Before he could react, I attacked. Minus 180 damage. I smiled. So all I need to do is kill you before the effect runs out, right? He never expected one pill to make me this strong. Realizing he couldn't win head-on, he started retreating, trying to stall for time. But now, he was slower than me. Every attempt to escape only resulted in him taking more damage. Then, a notification appeared. You have comprehended the essence of swordsmanship. Sword aptitude plus 5%. Perfect. It felt like I was finally understanding the true nature of the sword. I kept attacking. His HP dropped rapidly. Soon, below 15%. Fear filled his eyes. But what I didn't know was, he had already made a decision. To him, I was clearly an important disciple of the sword sect. Letting me live would be a huge mistake. Suddenly, his weapon changed. A strange purple energy wrapped around it. His aura exploded. His eyes turned blood red. Then, he launched a powerful strike. Even before he activated it, I felt danger. I moved first. Phantom Step. I disappeared. To his shock, I reappeared right in front of him. Before he could recover, I struck. A clean slash across his throat. Critical hit. Minus 466. His HP dropped to 0 instantly. He staggered, eyes wide. How is this possible? Then collapsed. Dead. I let out a deep breath. Finally, it was over. A system notification appeared. Hell difficulty quest completed. I could now return to the sect and claim my reward. With a moment to spare, I checked the items dropped by the two brothers. That's all for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Smash subscribe if you want more, and stay tuned for part 3 coming soon. Thanks for watching.